So I think we can start. Good afternoon. So this is the session on bridging the Mediterranean. This session is devoted to presentations on national research and educational network in the Mediterranean area. So there is a last-minute change in the program. The last two speakers couldn't make to the conference, so we will have three presentations from Algeria, Egypt, and Morocco, and then we have last edition from Jordan. So 4 presentations on 4 countries. This session has been preceded actually by the UMed Grid meeting workshop that was held yesterday at the conference, and by the UMed Connect meeting that took place this morning. So there is a big investment of the European Union and from the beneficiary countries to create a network in all the states, countries in the south, on the south coast of the Mediterranean. So in this session is devoted to the the most recent results. So I'll invite the first speaker, which is Dr. Hawak El Muhab, who's the head of Networks Division and responsible for the research network in Algeria, and she would talk about the academic research network in Algeria.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon. My name is Hawak El Muhab. I represent the academic research network in Algeria, and I thank the organizer to give us this opportunity to present our networks for all countries in the Mediterranean region. So for ARN in Algeria, the goals of the missions of this network is to offer to the scientific community first an infrastructure for communication, which is very important because we haven't this type of infrastructure dedicated to research and the academic community. And the second point is to build on this infrastructure technological solutions for achieving some of our plans which are related to e-services like electronic library, developing also distance learning, and finally also and recently introduce also great technology. How ARN is organized? Initially, the decision was made by the CERIST. CERIST is a research center which has initiated the research network in Algeria since 1994. And under the approbation of our ministry, which we belong to, the ministry is in charge of universities and most of other scientific organizations. And since 2005, this decision is shared by members of a committee which is designed by the ministry. What about our sources funding? As I said before, CERIST was the initiator. So since 1994 until 2001, the network functioned with indirect funding. Each university was paying their cost. Since 2002, the ministry started paying for all the universities and other institutions which are belonging to the ministry. And since May 2004, CERIST beneficiated of funds from European Commission which concern his connection to Géant under the UMed Connect project. These funds cover 80% of the total cost, and 20% is national funds. We have put some criteria to be membership of ARN, so all organizations allowed to be part to ARN are universities, research centers, other high school and academic institutions which are funded by the ministry, and other scientific or governmental institutions or no-profit organizations also are allowed to be connected also to ARN, but they have to pay their cost. The staffing structure is based in 3 levels to achieve the functionality of the network. The first level concerns the design of the network, the management also of the network, and introduce new services like IPv6 and quality of service. Multicast has been introduced recently. And we have also research and development projects which concern all these topics related to networks. The second level concerns development of basic services from mail, web, DNS, and so on, and development also of informational services like portal, research engines, and also research and development projects which concern essentially the virtual library and e-learning solutions which are related to the goals we have fixed to achieve. Level 3 concerns operational NOC, which handle new connections and the technical daily problems happening. On this map, we can see the architecture of the network. So we have 4 POPs on the network, and we have 2 international connections, one on Géant with 155 megabits, and another with commercial internet. And we have some capacity which are used on these POPs, and which can handle all these connections, which are about 72 connections. So we have 2.5 gigabits support, telecom support in the main POP, which is in Algiers, and we have 2 POPs at east and west, which are about 622 megabits. And the southern POPs, which is Wordla, has support about 155 megabits. And as I said, we have an STM1 connection to Géant through since May 2005. Starting with 2005, a big program was issued from our ministry to upgrade all the capacities of most of institutions. This program is funded by the government and is involved, concerned all university research center, high schools and institutes, and the main goals of this program is to give more capacity depending on the needs of these institutions. So today there are 72 sites which are connected all to the ARN network. We have 27 universities, 13 university centers, 12 high institutes and schools, 10 research centers, and 10 other scientific institutions which are not belonging to high education and scientific research ministry, but they belong to other ministries, but they are on ARN. We have now 7 universities which have 34 megabits, and 5 with 8 megabits, 3 with 6 megabits, and all the others, about 57, have 2 megabits. The services which are available on ARN concern the IPv4 network, the NOC handling, video conferencing and streaming service. We introduce IP multicast, and we have support for technical teams of all institutions which are connected to the network. We are planning to introduce in the near future IPv6 network to formalize our CERT IRN. We handle all the alerts, security alerts, but we want to move to more formalized CERT IRN. And we have also pilot service for building virtual library and e-learning platforms. We want also to introduce VoIP inside the ARN to use more capacity for this need of telephony inside the network. And with the UMed Grid project, we are starting to set up clusters to put them available for scientific community to develop this technology. So, as I said, we have for Euro-Mediterranean region 2 projects. The first one is UMed Connect. The connectivity started in 2004 and will go through 2007. And the second, more recent project is UMed Grid. He starts in this year, in 2006, and will go through 2007. These projects are very important for us and for all the region. I can give you some achievements related to UMed Connect and regarding ARN, our network. The first point is the connectivity growth. So, to give you some indicators, in 2002, ARN had a total of 20 megabits of international connectivity, and today we have 195, where 84% is directly provided by UMed Connect. And we have seen an important increase of international traffic during these last years. The second point is we have now direct link with other NRNs. So our international connectivity was provided through commercial internet ISP before, and now we have this direct link which gives us many benefits. Some of them are faster connect speed and more better operation performance for services, advanced services. The third point is costs. This point is important also because we have seen that when we have started the project, the cost of the megabits in the region was very high. For indication, it was about 4,000 megabits per month. And now this cost has decreased effectively. It is around 1,000 megabits per month. But today with UMed Connect we have cost which is around 300 euro per megabit and per month, which is an important support for developing our connectivity. The fourth point is an important point also, which is training and participating to events related to NRNs. So now we can have more qualified technical staff. We can have also update knowledge about network technologies, and we can share experiences between our countries and with European and others NRNs. And this is very important for our knowledge and our qualified staff. The final point, the last and not the least, is that the achievement of UMed Connect is that it improved the national network in terms of building infrastructure and also in terms of introducing and deploying new services. And all these points is important for the development of our national research network, and this regional projects can give us more opportunity and can link together community, scientific community, and for our specific needs in networking technology, it is very important that this link can be maintained. So I thank you, and if you have some question, I am here to.
So thank you very much for this nice overview of the Algerian network. The floor is now open for questions or comments. Okay. Yeah, sure. Can we have a microphone over there? It's coming. Down here. There. Yeah.
Peter Kirstein, UCL. I have two questions. The first one, voice over IP, you mentioned that you want to increase the amount you're doing it. Do you anticipate any problems at all from any regulatory authorities if you're using this? And do you have any constraints as to how you're going to use it?
Okay. I have just said that for voice over IP, we will start in using it inside the network. So we will use this facility between universities. We haven't yet planned to use it for the public telephony network.
No, but even inside, will you be using it nationally or internationally, and do you expect to have any problems at all about that?
No, we will not have problem for this.
And the second is you gave some costs of 300 euros per megabit per month. That is the full cost to you. That's nothing to do with any subsidies from European Commission or anybody else.
300 is our contribution. It's our part.
Ah,
yes.
So the real cost is actually 1.5 kilo euros per megabit per month. But it's subsidized, isn't it?
Approximately, yes.
Yeah, I just want to make quite sure I understood because of the comparisons that I
Yes.
would make with my. So it's 1,500. So the actual cost is 1,500, roughly.
This information is related to the fact that prices has decreased this last years, but I can say that we have had very high prices when 1 year ago. So I know also that the price for the next years will decrease regarding the market currently in use.
Any other questions or comments? I got one. Do you have an idea of the number of users that you have, that you serve with ARN?
The number of users is about 500,000.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, if not, let's thank again the speaker. And we can move on with the program. The second speaker is Dr. Omar Karam, from the Executive Director of the Egyptian Universities Network, and he will talk about the Egyptian network.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to meet with all of you and speak about the Egyptian Universities Network. It's been there, the EUN, as we call it, has been there since 1987, since the bit-by-bit lines, and it's been working to promote better higher education for the Egyptian government universities. At the time, of course, there were only government universities, and now we have about 15 government universities and maybe about 10 private universities, so we're concerned with the government ones. We're trying to cooperate with the private ones also, but it's still taking some time. And so we connect 15 universities and 19 different smaller scientific and educational organizations, such as the UNESCO office and the Fulbright office. We are a unit of the Supreme Council of Universities. The Supreme Council of Universities is runs or is the board of directors for the Egyptian universities. So we are primarily funded by the university subscriptions through this Supreme Council, and we also are partly funded by various services we provide. So we do the internet and interconnectivity for the Egyptian schools. We manage the .eg domain, the top-level domain in Egypt. So everybody has to register with us if they want a .eg domain. This is important because it will be an important part of our business model. We are talking with the Telecommunication Regulatory Authority in Egypt. We're talking with ICANN. We're talking with other people who are interested in promoting the .eg domain. There aren't that many, so we really have to promote it. We do provide technical support for all the universities. They usually call us and we go visit them, and we have a lot of communication with them. We do technical consulting. There are several new universities who have to plan their networks, and we do help them out with that. There were three universities established a couple of years ago, so we've helped them out. Suez Canal University, we've done studies for the tenders for them. We do provide email services for any of our academic staff, although they do have at their universities, but some of them do come to us. And we do host websites, the normal websites. We're currently involved with it in various capacities, whether they're our projects or with other people, so we're involved in several projects, starting with IT training. That's funded partly by the Supreme Council of Universities and the ICTP, which is the Information Communications Technology Project. It's funded, it's within the Ministry of Higher Education, and it is funded by the World Bank. There's scientific databases and e-journals, e-learning, there's our data center, of course there's EUMed Grid and EUMed Connect. There's a small project with the e-government. And of course the infamous infrastructure upgrade, or famous infrastructure upgrade everywhere, going on everywhere. Now the IT training there's a central unit of ICT training. It prepares and supervises ICT courses and testing for faculty, assistants and staff at all universities, just to raise the level of education with respect to ICT at all the Egyptian universities. So there's one representative of for the project in each university, and he's in charge of finding resources and training administering the test procedures, but the tests are all centralized, the grading and all that. The scientific databases and e-journals, there is a consortium was formed and called the Egyptian Universities Library. The 15 Egyptian government universities have joined hands, joined forces. We've been talking with the publishers. Negotiations took a long, long time. We've managed to get suitable prices and subscription rates. So we're now subscribed to with Science Direct, with Ovid, talking with IEEE and all these people. The access, of course, is IP-based, so site-based, and anyone on campus can connected to our network can access these databases. And there's a consolidated, federated portal at Ovid, the publisher, so that they can do a federated search on with all the people we're subscribed to through their portal. So the Egyptian Universities Library, EUL, as in it's very similar to EUN, is a consortium for subscription to international scientific databases and online journals. And some other private schools have started joining this consortium, or parts of it, like the American University in Cairo. They have also joined the wagon with respect to specific databases. We've got, of course, a national e-learning center and national e-learning project, and they promote e-learning awareness. They do workshops and raise the awareness and skills for the academic staff, and then they help them out for preparing their electronic online courses. It's very normal. You bring in your material and sit down with you and develop your electronic online course. Hopefully 10% of the, by the end of this year, the projects here, 10% of the courses will have different elements, different degrees of e-learning within them. Now, the e-learning and the library and the IT training and all that, they do need a data center, and that's going to be at EUN. So we will provide the service for the various projects along our servers and storage area network. We will be providing security, connectivity, backups, whether for the e-learning, testing for the IT training, or the local site for the publishers, for the e-journals. And of course the infrastructure upgrade. So we're raising each university's connectivity to 34 megs. Right now they're between 2 and 10 megs per school. So by this fall, we hope to have our new fiber network up and running, 34 megs. We're adding 155 megs. Currently, we have 56 megs to the internet through two different operators. So we'll have another 155 megs. Whether we're going to add another 155 or the decision to add it in the near future will depend on observing the traffic on these lines, of course, and on the individual universities finishing their internal infrastructures, because there are 15 universities and there are 15 universities upgrading their network. So we don't want to get all the bandwidth right now because we're a little bit ahead of most of the schools. And we are cooperating with NCNet. NCNet is the research center's network. They're different than us, so of course we have to cooperate with them, and we are creating a unified network and pooling our resources, whether they're databases or their internet lines. So we have 15 universities, 14 are on your top left, and of course Cairo University, that's where the EUN premise location is also, it's on the bottom left. We have the research centers, of course we have gigabit interfaces, but right now we're going to operate on 34 bits. And there will be an STM1 line between EUN and NCNet, although they have to, well, they're going to upgrade their internet, and then we can cooperate with respect to our internet lines. This is the distribution of or coverage of the Egyptian universities network. Cairo is, well, it's right where EUN is. It should also say Cairo, but, well, we're a little bit full. So EUN, and we have 15 schools, and we cover almost all of Egypt. The red lines will be the 34 megs, and the thinner lines will be either mostly copper to the branches and campuses of different universities. So, our connectivity right now it's 56 megs, and we have 34 megs to the EU Med Connect. By fall, we'll have the 56 in addition to 155 megs, and hopefully we'll decide about another 155 megs. Internet 2, there will be provided to 3 locations in Egypt. One of them is EUN, the other is ENSTINET, the research network, and the third is the Biblioteca Alexandrina in Alexandria. Each of us will get 34 megs, and then the line will go 155 to New York. EU Med Connect, we have 34 megs current. Hopefully we will still have 34 megs, and we haven't, the decision hasn't been made yet whether to upgrade or not to 155 megs. We're involved also with the EUMed Grid, and our node, not our node actually, we're cooperating with the Electronics Research Institute in Cairo, and the first node for the grid will be located there. From the University UN, we have currently 1 to 10. It will be 34 megs for each university. This is done with the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology and the ICTP project funded by the World Bank. The services, we currently have the normal services of connectivity.eg, that's what also we do, mail hosting, technical support. We will add by fall the data center. We have the project cooperation with the Supreme Council of University, the ICTP, the European Union, the Electronics Research Institute, the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. We're also participating in the e-government project with the Ministry of Administrative Development. We just have some of their servers that provide some services for the dormitories and the remote students to be able to access their schools from their villages. The last point is that we will have also an MIS server for the Supreme Council connected to all the universities to create a central MIS system for the schools. This should start in fall of 2006, I should say. We hope all this will lead to better higher education, better research capabilities. We do have projects with the European Union. We have a Mediterranean virtual university, that's in Ain Shams University with Strathclyde and some other schools in Europe and the region. So hopefully all that will be up and running very soon. We also hope that between the Egyptian schools themselves, they will make their databases available to each other, and there will be more cooperation between the Egyptian schools themselves. So hopefully that will happen in the not so near future, but maybe not so distant future. And thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you very much for this overview. Are there questions or comments? Yes. The microphone is coming.
Yes, I would like to ask you whether you considered or have applied for a license as a provider or not. I mean, or if you have been pressed by the regulator to do so.
No, we haven't been pressed by the regulator to do so at all. We do have several meetings with them over the year, but no, we don't. We don't. They did not ask us for that. I understand that. Yeah. Because we will be getting our internet services through the allowed licensed companies, licensed operators.
Any other questions? Well, I have one. Do you run on your network any data repository for archaeological data, for digital archives, for this kind of data? Because there is an increasing interest in the scientific community for Greek computing for archaeological data. So maybe Egypt is one of the most important countries in this respect.
Right now, no, we don't. There are several people working at the scientific computing departments, especially on surface restructuring, for example, for archaeological purposes and statues. And I just saw last week an example for the restructuring, the surface restructuring of the Sphinx. So we're talking to these people because they were very interested in their applications running on the grid. So hopefully, we've talked to the guys in Ain Shams University, we've talked to the guys at ERI, so hopefully we'll have some of that running very soon.
Yeah, if you have contacts, I would appreciate to know, because there are groups in Spain and Italy working on the same subject.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, the Biblioteca Alexandrina. Yeah, and I called them before I came just to make sure that, because we're talking with them about joining our EUMED connection.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, so let's thank the speaker again. And we can move on with the program. The third speaker is Dr. Redouane Merhouk from Morocco. He's head of the Marwan Network, the National Research Network, and he will talk about the last updates on this network.
Thank you, Roberto. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Redouane Merhouk, and I am from Morocco. I am in charge of the Moroccan NRN Marwan, and also the Moroccan Grid Computing Initiative Madrid. And I will try to give you an idea of the networking situation in a South Mediterranean country, which is Morocco. We started the NRN Marwan in 1998, and last year we launched the Marwan 2, the second version of this network. The main objective of this network were to provide a high bandwidth network to the Moroccan universities, to increase the exchanges between Moroccan universities by setting up common projects, and to develop the IT in Morocco by allowing the universities to participate in international networking projects. Marwan is a dedicated network to education, training and research. It offers an acceptable bandwidth access to the users who have the choice between 2 and 34 megabit per second links. Marwan is also connected to G1, and the cost of the connections is lower than their equivalent internet access. Marwan is offering IPv6 services, and we hope to be able to offer multicast next year. Concerning organization, Marwan is a part of the National Center for Scientific and Technical Research, which is a government agency funded by the Ministry of Higher Education. All education and research institutions are allowed to connect to Marwan, even if they not depend directly to the Ministry of Higher Education. The backbone of Marwan is provided by the national operator Maroc Telecom, and is connected to Giant by a 34 megabit link via Catania. And as I said earlier, the institutions can be connected by 2 or 34 megabit per second. To give you an idea on the geographical coverage of this network. Here is a map of Morocco, where you can notice that the distance between the north and south of is more than 2,500 kilometers. And by talking about bridging during this session, Morocco, while being an African country, is just 14 kilometers from Europe. So we have here the opportunity not only to have a digital bridge, but a real bridge. As we can see from this slide, Marwan is built over a VPN MPLS network provided by the national operator Maroc Telecom. Is not really a private network. Moreover, all routers on the backbone are controlled by the operator. And we have no access to them except those belonging to the institutions. This is a real obstacle standing against the development of advanced services on Marwan. We want to opt for another and better solution, but we don't have the necessary funds for it. In other side, this VPN MPLS backbone is given to us for free, while the clients have to pay directly to the operator the link between them and the backbone. My dear colleagues have talked about the UMID Connect project. Joining them, I would add that UMID Connect had an important impact on the development of the Marwan network and even on other South Mediterranean inherents. The success of UMID Connect made possible that other projects could be launched, for example, UMID Grid, and all those projects will enrich the ECN's infrastructure in the Mediterranean region. Concerning users, we have in Morocco 14 universities and about 300,000 students and 15,000 faculties and researchers, the majority of them being connected to Marwan. In terms of connection, we have 10 links of 34 megabit and 22 links of 2 megabit per second. This month, we hope we are upgrading the UMID Connect link from 34 to 155 megabit. And as you can see, the current link is completely congested. For the services, we started to offer this year IPv6, but only with tunnels, because we have no access to the backbone routers. For this reason too, we are not able to start the planned multicast services for the moment. We will also set up, we are planning to set up a certification authority for the Moroccan Grid Initiative, Magrid. Marwan is supporting three major projects in Morocco. The first one is the Moroccan Institute of Scientific and Technical Information, which is a classic and digital library specialized in the scientific information, with more than 100,000 specialized books and subscription in 3,500 scientific reviews. The second project is the Moroccan Virtual University, which will be the 15th university in Morocco. And the last one is the National Grid Computing Initiative, Magrid. For Magrid, the first node in Rabat is now operational and has been added to the UMID grid infrastructure. We are planning to add 3 sites this year and reach 15 sites in 2 years. This is another example showing the importance of the Mediterranean project. Always thanks to this North-South cooperation, during May and June 2005, Terina has undertaken a study as part of the GN2 networking activity in AFOR, about the status of research and education networking in Morocco. The work includes at this study detailed information gathering and a visit of team of experts from GN2 member NRAs to Morocco, which was carried on 22 June from last year. The experts identified 3 main recommendations to the parties concerned in planning, operating, and supporting research and education in Morocco, and 1 set of action to be implemented by the GN2 in our project. For recommendation, Marwan, the first one, Marwan must have control of the network, because the network infrastructure currently provided by the telecom operator to Marwan does not allow users to obtain the advanced services they require, and therefore is not sustainable. Second point, the heads of academic and research institutes should encourage the introduction and use of advanced network services and applications in order to allow their institutions to participate and compete in the global research community. For this point, this year we start to introduce IPv6 and services and the video conference and the university. And finally, Marwan needs to have stable funding and sufficient well-trained staff to meet the challenges of the foreseeable future. The group of experts also define a number of actions that can help to move on for Marwan. To conclude, I will say that Marwan had a favorable global impact with 3 points to be mentioned. The improvement of the universities' networks and increase of their access capacity, the development of new IT projects in Morocco, and finally the participation of Moroccan research and in international cooperation is contributed to facilitate. Also, the Euro-Mediterranean IT project, UMID Connect and UMID Grid, encouraged the improvement of NRNs in South Mediterranean region, the knowledge transfer, and the reducing of the digital divide. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Other questions? Yes.
Hi, James Farnhill from JISC. A question you were saying about setting up a certification authority. How are you thinking of doing that? Is it going to be hooking in with Tarina's initiative on that?
We are trying to set up this certification authority with the help of the UMID Grid project. It's not now operational, but we hope that we can set up this certification for next year. Now we are using the certification authority from the INFN, and we hope to start our certification maybe next year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can give you more details. I mean, at the moment, all the beneficiary countries of the UMED Grid projects have created the registration authorities of the INFN certification authority, which will act as a catch-all certification authority for the first year. And we are trying to start up the process of creating certification authorities. Of course, they will be, I mean, the goal is that eventually they will be member of UGRID PMA, the club of certification authorities trusted on the European grid infrastructure. Any other questions? Okay, if not, let's thank again the speaker. So as I said, there is a change in the program. Now the last speaker of the session is Dr. Youssef Torman, is the Executive Director of JUNET, the Jordan Universities Network, and he will talk about the Jordan Network.
Thank you. Good evening. Please forgive me for the quality of the presentation and also the depth of the information in this presentation, because I've given maybe half an hour to prepare it. So, and again, I have no. Usually, I do my presentation in Arabic. This is the first time in English, so please forgive me for that. I am Yusuf Torman, the Executive Director of the Jordanian Universities Network, which we will describe all over this presentation. Okay, let's start about background. Two things I missed, I learned from the presentations of my colleagues. I missed two things in my presentation. That's the dates and the cost. So I will try to cover these when I come to when there is a need for that. Connecting Jordania is an initiative by the government that aims to coordinate and accelerate critical developments and reforms intended to make ICT an important facet. This is to help Jordanians community to step ahead in this arena. This is managed by the Ministry of ICT. One of the programs there to support to achieve the Connecting Jordania's initiative is to build a national broadband network. This national broadband network is also a program managed by the Ministry of ICT in Jordan to connect all the as much as possible education and learning centers in Jordan, mainly the public universities and the Ministry of Higher Education. This network covers 12 sites, the public schools and it's 3,200 schools, community colleges about 20 sites, and public access sites. These public access sites are to provide some kind of access center for the rural areas that are not they have no access or no money to access the internet or anything. The Jordanian Universities Network is the first phase of the national broadband network. It was built to provide the Jordanians research and learning institutions with high-class state-of-the-art TCP/IP network, and to encourage students, faculty members, and researchers to use this network to collaborate and create more joint projects, and to develop the Jordanian research and learning community, and to provide a platform to connect to other research and learning networks like Human Connect or any other. This network, we are lucky in Jordan that we found many fiber providers in Jordan. One of the, at least we have three: the Jordan Telecom, the Royal Jordanian Air Force. They have also a fiber network, and also the best one was the National Power Electric Company. They have fiber on their distribution points that cover all the country. So we have contracted with them on an IRU basis. We lease the fiber for 20 years from them for around $60,000 per year for maintenance only. The Ministry of ICT was in charge of building this network, as I mentioned. They have built the network based on Cisco 76,000 core network, three routers. There is a graph next. We'll go through it. This network is, the customer edge is based on Cisco 73X routers. Each university now has 1 gigabit per second connected to the core. The core of the network was based on MPLS network, MPLS technology for flexibility, security, control, and management. Now we have 10 universities connected to this network. currently. The cost of these equipment and routers was and the last mile of fiber was 1.5 million. It's $2 million. That was funded by the government. The government also funded the Human Connect project when it comes to fund and cost. About the dates, excuse me, the Connecting Jordanians initiative was introduced in 2002, and the Jordanian Universities Network was established and inaugurated in September 2004. So everything, we are new in everything. For managing this broadband network, for the universities, the schools network is managed by the Ministry of ICT. The idea was to bring up a company. This company is a non-profit and with limited liability, created by the public universities. They are the shareholders of this network. They chair the board of directors, and also they pay for subscription for this network for this company to survive. For JUNET, it's planned to be the main coordinator and facilitator for all efforts aimed for developing and maintaining any common services for the universities. Our vision is to contribute to the development of the higher education and research in Jordan by providing this sector with the quality network and application services. Currently, we provide the following services. Again, it is not all the services and not with depth. We provide them with internet. We have one gateway which will be active on the 1st of June this year. One STM1 full capacity for internet access. And we have Human Connect with the E3 connection. We do network management. We do some specific training for specific purposes, like the training we get from Human Connect, we convey it to the universities. Now we are in charge of developing the common courses, the contents of the common courses that used for all the universities. For example, some mandatory courses that have to be taken by all students who are enrolled in the universities. We are in charge of doing that. We are also in charge, we do the facilitation and preparation for any events, conferences that are of common nature for all the universities. The people who are using this network now, mainly the libraries, we have one integrated library management system connecting all the university libraries in Jordan. They use one system to manage the contents of the libraries, the inter-university library, inter-university loan, all these services. Human Connect, finally, lately they have been using it. Also the internet, people use the internet through our network. We have one subscription, unified subscription for the periodicals and scientific journals. Some distance learning and video conferencing are pilot projects are between some different universities to utilize this network. Our plans are not, since we are new, they are under approval, but mostly they are around the idea of common needs. For example, we are one part of what we are planning to have is one common portal, higher education portal for all universities and higher education. For example, research gateway. These are a very high level of what we are intending to do. I'm sorry for this short presentation and short notice.
Thank you. It was very much appreciated. I mean, gave a good overview of the development in Jordan. Other questions or comments? Yes.
Hi there, James Farnell from JISC again. Just a very quick comment on what you were saying about research access. Do you see that purely as being through portals to the network, or could you see that there are other ways of actually getting access to, say, grid facilities, etc., such as workflow engines?
Sorry, I can't tell now. I can't tell that.
Right. So something for the future. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, let's... Oh, sorry. There's one down there.
What is your commodity internet feed? How much commodity internet do you get?
Commodity internet?
Commodity internet from telecom, whatever.
Did you get the question?
How do you mean as commodity internet? I mean, the number of users or...
Well, there is research internet that you get, let's say, from UMed Connect. But also there is pure vanilla internet. So you said that you're providing also your users with internet services. I mean, how much, where do you get the feed from and how much is it? That, I mean, not
well,
how much, but, you know, how fat the feed is, if you could.
Currently, we are not in. Currently, the universities have their own subscription to the internet. We are planning to. We are contracting with the universities to establish one common gateway with one STM, one for all the universities. That will be in 1st of June. So I don't have numbers or that I can provide you with.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, let's thank the last speaker and all the speakers of the session. So this was the last presentation, so the session is closed. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon and the welcome reception.